Okay team, it is Bank Holiday Monday and I thought we could celebrate that by doing some Paper 1, Section B, narrative or description. Why is my camera not focusing? Never mind. Okay, so I've flicked through my books and I've found this picture. Now those of you who know me really well will know that I absolutely love Harry Potter. And if you recognise it, full marks. This is the Weasleys' house. It's called The Burrow in the films, and I'm going to be writing a descriptive piece today about it, or planning one. You're going to write it. Now, when I'm writing to describe, I like to do something called Masts P. Mast P is this. It is your metaphor, your adjective, your simile, your triples, your senses, and then personification. Okay? And as you can see, as you go down the list, masts and P. So personification is more if you really want to push yourself, but everyone needs to remember masts. Think about a boat sailing away with your GCSEs on it. Now, the first thing I do is write down my immediate reactions. So for me, as you can see, I've written down the sun is sparkling on the lake because that's my immediate reaction. The first thing I thought about when I looked at that picture was how the sun sparkled on the lake. I then, as I tell you every lesson, I absolutely love my senses. So what I do is I think about the senses I can talk about. So I've gone for that I can smell honeysuckle. I've said I can hear birdsong. I can touch, and I've started, that's not helpful, there it is a little bit. I've started by saying the sun sparkles on the lake, I can smell honeysuckle, I can hear birdsong. So I'm kind of creating a really beautiful, friendly, warm, happy description. Then I've written touch. And I thought about wasps landing on my skin. And then I thought, realistically, is that something warm and inviting? Would I want that to happen in my life? Probably not. So I've gone for the long grass stroking my ankles. Now, if the first thing you think about is that you might get ticks, probably don't write that. Okay, because the whole idea of this is that I personally want to build a really warm and inviting atmosphere, kind and friendly, so we know it's a place that the person who's walking will enjoy. Okay? Now, I then, as you can see, I've added on the end there, a simile, shone like glass, because all that happened was that popped into my head and I thought, I'm going to write that down. So if things pop into your head that go along with metaphors, adjectives, similes, triples, senses, personification, write them down. That's going to really help you in the long run. Okay? So shone like glass, because now what I'll probably do, my opening sentence will be, the sun sparkled on the lake. It shone like glass. You'll notice I haven't said, I could see the sun sparkling on the lake. I don't need that in there because what I'm saying makes it clear that I can see it, that I've got eyeballs. Okay, so don't panic too much about that. Moving onwards, I look back at the picture again. Where is it? Here we go. And I think, right, what do I want to describe in that? What are the best bits? And I work my way through. So I know personally for me, I'm going to start with the lake. Okay, and on the lake you can just see that reflection there. So I might spend some time describing the reflection. That's fine, that's what I want to do. Moving forward though, here I can see this bank alongside the river or the lake. And the first thing popped into my head then was all the different things that might live in it. So voles, or maybe some snakes, maybe some of the birds, moorhens potentially, because I think that kind of builds the atmosphere of this being a really inviting place where anybody or anything is welcome. I then move forwards, so I've then got the grass here. Think about the grass and how it looks really warm, it looks very comfortable. You could lay in it and sunbathe, that seems like a nice idea. Upwards and upwards and upwards. Now where you can see this, but I've got a shed here. It looks like a World War II, like an Anderson shelter or something. And then I've got here a Ford Anglia, which I can describe as well, before moving on eventually to the house. Because remember, I don't want to give everything away right from the start. I want to keep it simple, and then give bits away at a time. I don't want to give everyone all the information. Okay, so what I've done here is I've come up with a list of things I want to say about each point. So I'm going to say the lake is huge and daunting, because I want to build a bit of atmosphere at the start. I want the audience not to know quite what's going to happen. I then think about the bank, and this is where I'm going to start to allow them to know that it's going to be warm and inviting. So I'd have that you could hide wildlife, or there was wildlife hiding in the bank. I might talk about the grass being really warm and really bright. I'll talk about the shed being rickety and dangerous, but that it's been made safe by somebody, because that's really kind of reaffirming the idea that it's a warm and inviting place and that you'd be safe to go there. I'm going to say the car is old but loved. But then what I do, and this is the magical bit that a lot of you are missing at the moment, is for each of these, I'm going to do a paragraph that might equal maybe half a page of description for each thing. Okay, if that's your aim, that's going to get you a lot closer to getting those 4s and 5s and 6s than if you just go, yeah, the lake was huge and daunting, and then in the bank there was some wildlife and the grass was quite warm, and there was a shed, it looked a bit dangerous but it was a bit safe, and the car was old but it looked like someone liked it, and the house was quirky and strange but beautiful. End. That amount is not going to get me a very high grade because I'm not developing my descriptions, and that's the important part, okay? It's using your exciting vocabulary, it's using your master devices, but really importantly, you must develop your descriptions, okay? And the last thing to say before you go and have a go at doing this is your sentence structure. So for a lot of you, you often will kick off with, I saw, I felt, I smelled, when actually you don't need those bits in there. If you're going to say, I saw a bird fly over the river, just say, a bird flew over the river. We don't need to know that you saw it, or you felt it, or you smelt it. Okay, it's important to remember that it's not about you, it's about what you can see and what you can hear and what's in front of you. So take yourself out of it. You shouldn't be in there at all, you should just be describing the scene. Now I'd like you guys to have a go at doing this. Here's your picture again one last time. Okay. Now remember to be exciting, creative, use your paragraphs. Think about making sure your spelling and punctuation are correct because you get marked for that as well. But mostly make sure that you put a feeling into it. Whatever feeling you think needs to be in there, you put it in there. Whether it's scary or angry or happy or sad, whatever else, you make those feelings happen, okay? And if you want to pop them into lessons, I'll happily mark them for you, give you some feedback. Other than that, off you go. Give yourself between 30 and 40 minutes. You've got your plan here, so you can have that for free. Use it if you want to, don't if you don't want to. But please give this a go. Try to write at least 2 sides of A4. Okay, good luck.